Media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Guys, knock it off in the words of Jackie Moon, ELE. Everybody love everybody. Welcome to Ermanni Network. This is Maz. Ryan won't be here, but you see him, you love him. Michigan State's own, NBA Detroit Pistons own, the number one heckler there ever was, that would be Anson Wells. What's up? Sporting the Chucks, by the way. Sporting the Converse.
I'm having an awesome day.
I see. Well, tell me about this awesome day.
Anytime I'm
he's
coming
the
to
number one
hang,
heckler? He's not the number one heckler.
you already know.
A lot of pros that I have talked to that left Detroit to go play other places and come back, they have told me, this is 4 different NBA pros. 2 are in the Hall of Fame. They mentioned Anson, so I can only do what I hear, and what I heard was Anson was great.
He's our heckler.
We're gonna have to get to that story one of these days.
Yeah.
But I started off the day knowing I was coming to see you guys, which is always great. But then I got an opportunity to talk to my man Zach. He's a member of V Friends, Gary Vaynerchuk, his Gary V's new project, and they are launching the Topps Chrome V Friends May 7th. Had an awesome call with them. We might be able to get some Gary V in here in the future. I know he'd be happy to say hello to his favorite Jet.
Longtime friend, GV, talking about motivational speaking. Talking about just being a great source of information, wealth of knowledge. Just a good dude, and he's a Jets fan. With that being said, Pete, Ricky, how you guys doing?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here with you guys, man. Pete, you feeling smooth today?
Good afternoon, everybody. Doing well. Had a good night at pinball last night. And ready to go for a good show, Brady.
See, you know, when I look at you quick, when I see the headphones, if I don't see to the side, you got the Lex Luthor look, man. I'm telling you. When it's straight on,
That's that DJ style.
you got the Lex Luthor.
God bless Gene Hackman.
Rest in peace, Gene Hackman.
peace.
With that being said, Tom Masway, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, fellas. Good to see you. Another beautiful day outside. They're getting prettier every day. I know it's a little chilly, but you see the sun, you see the blue in the sky. It makes me happy. After watching, I finished that show finally last night on Hulu, Paradise.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, man,
It was a good show.
it's depressing to watch it. It was a good show, but it was depressing because it tells you about the end of the world, and they live in this cave, and I won't spoil it after that, but to see the real world out here, it's refreshing. TV, man, they go a little too far sometimes. I don't want to see that.
It scared you?
I'm still scared of the Statue of Liberty because of Planet of the Apes. Thanks to that. They ruined my love for the Statue of Liberty. But here I am.
He took it back with that. Yeah, you know, you get too locked into TV shows. Like I found myself going down the paradigm of Netflix and Hulu and finding that TV show. And TV shows are very specific. They're all about, you know, the inner workings of, you know, government and technology and the hacks and things of that nature. You can go down that rabbit hole, and you can get, you know, a little bit worried, Maz, if you pay attention to that. Murder doc, if that's your thing. Murder docs will freak you out.
No thanks.
There are a lot of freaky, weird people out here in this world that you would never know.
alone.
So you spend too much time locked into 4 corners looking at something, you can do exactly that. That's why you got to get outside.
Becomes your reality, man.
True.
For
That's why you got
real.
to get outside. And that's why you got to get back to reading. So I like reading. That's something that
100%.
I want to get back to is reading. I don't read anything but comments, and that's not good.
No.
I'm reading that Braylon Edwards autobiography. It's pretty good so far.
I appreciate that,
Learning
man.
about how you got to wear the number 1 and all that good stuff.
Who's our guy, Tom Van Haren?
Tom Van Haren. Shout out to
Love that
Tom
guy.
Van Haren,
I gotta
man.
look that
I
up.
was very vulnerable with that book. Like I wrote that from a very honest space. Wanted to put information out there. So check it out if
I gotta
you
read that.
can. It's literally still on Google. Go to Braylon Edwards Doing It My Way. Speaking of doing it my way, Michigan State, Michigan. We talked about it yesterday. You weren't here. Both entered the Sweet 16. Just thoughts on Michigan State and what you watched this week. And we'll get into should they play or not or who's excited.
Okay.
There's a lot of people around town running their mouth, and
Right.
they usually don't comment on people, but they're proving they're idiots. That's later. Talk about it. Michigan State. Where are you with what they did this weekend?
First and foremost, if you're not watching Danny Wolf, you are missing out on one of the most unique players in the NCAA
Well
right
said.
now.
Most unique player. Like
And this is a guy that can bring the ball up at 7 foot. He can run the post. He can hit the 3. He's a hell of a playmaker. I'm going to catch some flack here.
Okay.
When you got a coach who is throwing punches, I don't think 8 wins is indicative of where Michigan's program truly was last year. So the accolades that Dusty May is getting for where he's taken this team, he deserves. However, I believe he's misusing his offense. I think that he could run a high pick and post with a wing weave that you got Golden and Wolf running a pick and roll every single play. And there's so many offensive possessions where the ball is stuck on the wing, and they've got capable wing players, but they don't have a dominant one outside of Danny Wolf. I think that offense is being misused, but I'll be honest. If they can figure out how to utilize those 2 7-footers in this tournament, I believe that they are a team that can beat everyone in this tournament. Now, on the other side of that coin, my Spartans, they're 10, 11, 12 guys deep. If they're hitting the 3 ball, really nobody can beat them. This is a team that harkens back to the late 90s. Same thing with them in 2000. If they don't show up in the first half, they can lose any round of this tournament. But if they play the way that they have in the second half of both of those first 2 games, very much like Michigan, this is a team that can beat every single team in the tournament field.
Yeah, we talked about them a bit yesterday. Ryan, Ermanni, and Maz, they believe that they can go all the way to the final game. Now, they didn't say whether they were going to win or not, but they saw enough out of this team. I haven't seen enough yet based on what they played, but what I will say I like, Maz, as I bring you in, I like the fact that Jace Richardson had a not-so-good game in a game that didn't matter. I think that's going to play well for him, not to mention who is his father, what does his father do? His father won a national championship, 25 years ago. Yeah. So I love the fact that he had that bad game. Didn't matter. They still got the dub.
I do believe, and I've said it before the tournament started, that I think they could win the whole thing on their 25th year anniversary. I was lucky enough to be in Indianapolis following that team that year, and they took it off the sheet. I believe they could take it off the sheet again, but I'll tell you, their toughest battle, if Michigan could beat Auburn, will be Michigan. I believe MSU will demolish Ole Miss, to be honest with you. I'm not worried about that game. Michigan, if they can get by Auburn, who is the number 1 seed in this tournament, I believe Michigan, the 3rd time around, will give MSU all they want in that game. And I believe, and I think we brought it up yesterday, I believe that would be the biggest game in the history of this unbelievably great rivalry. And I'm throwing football in there too.
There's 4 games that measure up. And I didn't know we were going here yet, but I spent the whole weekend researching the biggest and most anticipated matchups. Now, in arrears, we can talk about trouble with the snap. We can talk about a lot of things after the fact. But going into a game, there are only 4 games that measure up, in my opinion. 2 times these 2 teams have played in the Big Ten tournament in the championship. And then in 1956, a 5th and 3rd ranked Michigan State undefeated football teams played. And then, of course, a few years ago, both these teams were 8-0. Both of them ranked in the top 10, and they met. Now, there is an interesting common thread between those 4 games, and that would be the victors. That would be Michigan State, won in all 4. But as we talked about last week, and we were hoping that both teams would make it through the weekend into the Sweet 16 so that we could have this conversation still.
Right. Yeah.
No game in their history, in my opinion, will be bigger or better than an Elite 8 matchup between our 2 schools here in Michigan. And I'm going to tell you right now, Maz, you said it, beating a team 3 times in the same season is damn difficult.
Yeah, let me ask you, because I was watching a clip that appeared on my social feed, and it was from 97, won the ticket. Mike Bellini, who's well known as a Michigan State alum, he said he didn't want to play Michigan again. He said he didn't want to play Michigan again. He didn't want to play a team or a franchise, or an organization, a college whose fans only come out when they're doing well, talking about this season, going into last season.
Did he listen to Neil's show?
100%. So, he pretty much. Yeah. Mill did say that same thing. Yeah. So he says, why play Michigan for a 3rd time? We're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. If we beat them, we've already dragged them twice. This will be the 3rd time. If we lose, well, now we're not going to the tournament, and we lost, and we had already beat them twice. Their fan base sucks. Ours doesn't, is essentially what I heard. But where are you with playing Michigan or Auburn?
I want Michigan.
Yeah.
100%. This rivalry hasn't been this tasty for a few years now. And what we saw at the logo in the last game, both teams emotionally are going to be fired up. You don't even need the rivalry to be there. But then you add in the rivalry on top of that. But listen, I want it all. I want to win in April. I want a national championship.
Yeah.
But we had a tournament taken from us. We couldn't get past Wisconsin. Michigan got past Wisconsin. They beat Tom Jay. And I want there to be no question after Izzo wins his second national championship of where the road went through. I don't want Michigan to be like, well, you guys lost a tournament, the Big Ten, but you did well in your tournament. I want to play them again. I want every opportunity to assert dominance. Now, I'm afraid because I don't want to lose that game, and it's so tough to win 3 in a row. But I can't listen. The somewhat fan, the bandwagon Michigan State fan, they're afraid. They don't want that game. Anybody that truly loves Michigan State. The best road to a championship goes through Michigan 3 times.
I laugh at the people that say that, Michigan fans are, they come out of the woodworks when Michigan basketball is doing good. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like Michigan State football. And that's not a shot at you, Anson. It typically sounds like the fan base of Michigan State football. I love when they don't have a team and you ask them, how's the season going to be? Who you guys play this week? I don't know. I think we might have Iowa. They're not that good. There's no expectations. It's similar to the same thing, but no, just getting back to it. The only thing I would ask is the road through Auburn, the road through the number 1 seed. I care less about Michigan and Michigan State in this question. Auburn's the number 1 seed. Auburn has been the number 1 seed for the most part of this year. Wouldn't it be good for Michigan State to beat them en route to winning a national championship, or it doesn't matter? Michigan's
a much bigger roadblock, and it's far more impactful to the school as well as the actual, the team. I mean, you are literally getting an opportunity to win or lose, end your season to your rival.
Not to mention, they just won the Big Ten tournament.
Exactly.
So if you beat them twice, you didn't win the tournament, they did, but then you beat them in the NCAA tournament after they won the Big Ten tournament. Now you really put your stamp on it.
We know Michigan and Michigan State fan, no matter what foot or shoe the foot falls on, if we get by Auburn and then we win a national championship, I'm still going to be hearing from Corn and Blue about how they won the Big Ten tourney. If we play them and we beat them, it's the same as them being a 1B seed. All right, that is the toughest opponent in the world for the Michigan State Spartans. It's not Duke, it's Michigan every time they play. And listen, I've embraced little brother. We are little brother. But again, the list I came up with, it's kind of wild. Caitlin Clark, Ovechkin, Jordan, Isaiah. Literally, like every single one of the GOATs is the youngest brother. Even Cristiano Ronaldo, the youngest brother. So yes, little brother, you might not be a fan if you're not wanting Michigan. But if you are truly a Spartan, there is no road to a championship that you want that doesn't go through Michigan's ass. Let's go.
I want to put pause. I want to bring Peter in on this, but I will say this. I feel exactly like Anson, because if the sport was flipped, if this was football and there are now 12 different teams that can make it to a playoff, I would want to play Michigan State.
Hell yeah.
If the road could go, I would want to play Michigan State to get to the national championship. That would be the only road that I would want to take if they were both in and had a chance to play each other. So I definitely feel your passion on that. Hold on one second. Pete, get in.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you guys very much. I was just going to say, add in, I think that Michigan State does have one of the more complete teams in this tournament, Anson, without a doubt. I'm just want to caution everybody first before I hit on Michigan and Anson. Just want to let you and the other Spartan fans know. You beat Bryant and you beat New Mexico. I'm not saying you didn't beat nobodies, but you didn't beat some, two of the better teams, and maybe Michigan didn't either. But now you're going up against a very, very, very complete team in Ole Miss. Heavy guard play. They got 4 guards that score over in double digits. Both of their forwards are in double. They distribute the ball somewhat crazy. All I'm saying to you, I'm not saying Michigan State's going to lose.
You kind of jumped ahead though, Pete.
Pardon me?
I said you kind of jumped ahead. I like it though. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, all I'm saying is that if Michigan State can get by this kind of a team, I have no doubt they can beat the Dukes, the Floridas, and Michigans. Now, this is your test. You want to win the national championship, you got to beat an Ole Miss team. Period.
Well, since you went there, Pete, let me ask you this: Michigan State aside, who do you think, take your biasness of Michigan State out of it, I'll take my biasness out of Michigan. Who do you think? Is it Duke versus the field, or are you field versus Duke in terms of what you've seen through the first weekend?
It's the field versus Duke. I mean, Duke doesn't have Coach K.
Okay.
All right, and Coach K, that was the wild card. I mean, this is just one of the most accomplished, close game coaches of all time. So you lose that factor. You have Cooper Flagg, but we've seen that Duke team often have one of the best rosters around and lose in the Sweet 16. I don't see any team nowadays in the NCAA as everyone versus that team. I think that era kind of ended about 10 years ago. Yeah. You know, you got great teams that you think might get there, the Villanovas and things like that. But when it comes down to it, I just don't see NCAA as cut and dry as we once did. You don't have a Kenyon Martin that you can just kind of pencil in the Bearcats to get their assuming health. So to me, that's a team that may not even get there. And it's a team that Michigan State can beat, but it's certainly a team that Michigan can beat. To your point that we were on before we got over to Pete talking about Ole Miss, and I do love Ole Miss. Yes. Listen, I understand why Mike Valenti said what he said, and I understand why some Spartan fans are saying what they're saying, because there would be no worse way to end the season as a Spartan than losing in the Elite Eight to a Michigan team. But at the same time, there is no better way to crown a national championship than going through your rival for a third time.
Unlike Ohio
I
State.
agree, man. I definitely
agree. Totally agree. And we all pray that it happens. Friday night, 7:30 for Michigan State. And then today finish up Ohio. Once they beat Ole Miss, are they sitting in the stands watching Michigan and Auburn?
I think you would have to.
I would
Probably.
be.
Probably. And then
I'm
Michigan,
on the bench.
if Michigan pull the upset, and they're probably going to be, I would probably think a 4 to 6 point underdog against Auburn. If they could pull that off, then we get a treat. We get a treat on Sunday.
Man, I'm going to ask you the same question. Are you, and I know you're going to say no, but I want to know why. Are you Duke versus the field or the field versus Duke?
I'm Duke versus the field.
Yes. So
I mean,
you saw what I saw.
Yes. You have two of the best players in the country in Cooper Flagg and Brown. Cooper Flagg, man, he's going to be the number one player taken in the NBA. I mean, enough said there. If the kid's healthy enough, and it seems like his ankle's okay, he's probably not 100%, but a 90% Cooper Flagg, he put in a double-double the other day. Again, Duke has gotten away with playing some weaker opponents too. That's what happens when you're a number one seed. So we'll see what happens this weekend, but I think Duke will be in the Final Four, and they're going to be you got to climb the mountain to beat them. I thought St. John's was going to be the best match for him. St. John's is back in New York already.
They got to get by BYU, baby.
BYU's the upstart.
Good shooting team.
They beat BYU. Duke legitimately is a damn well-oiled machine right now. When you watch them play, and you didn't even mention Proctor, who shot the lights out and can shoot. He's All-American for a reason. You had Cooper Flagg. But the thing I loved about their game, they didn't play selfish. If there wasn't any ISO ball like all these teams are playing now, it's the young guys, ISO is one-on-one. I'm going to pull up Hezzy from the three-point line, or I'm looking for the alley-oop or the lob.
Accidental basketball, as the Mamba called it.
100%. It wasn't accidental basketball. This is very purposeful. They were moving the ball around. Like, Cooper Flagg's the best player on the court, and it's not even close. He only had 18 because he was finding other guys, getting guys involved. That's dangerous to play against. But the only reason why I won't say Duke versus the field, Florida beating UConn, the way they did, considering what UConn is, and I know Florida's a better team, but UConn has been there 3 years in a row. They've won 2 years in a row. That coach is that coach. For them to be able to come back and win that game, and Florida coming into it, had momentum, that's the only reason why I'll take the field versus Duke, because Florida looked damn good in that game, and there are some other
SEC.
Yeah, there you go. 7 out of 14, they made it, much like 4 out of 8 the Big Ten.
Hell yes.
Yeah, so it's heating up, and it is going to be fun. We promised we were getting to some football.
Hey, the chat, let me read a couple here from the chat. Not super chat yet. Hey, we got one more day, guys, for the super chat.
Yeah.
You want to go over this, guys, before I read the chat? Go ahead, Anson. Start it off, because we got one more day before we pick on Thursday the winner to go to this game.
You guys are looking at the big prize. That's for the whole month. The Pistons Parlay, Braylon's Piston Parlay package. You're going to get tickets. You're also going to get dinner at Parlay. But today's competition, I brought another one. I got a Braylon Edwards autographed rookie here. So whoever comes in with the most Super Chats today, we're going to send this card out to you, and you're also going to rank in with that month-long competition. Like he said, Maz said, this is the last day to get that Pistons parlay package from our boy Braylon. So get those Super Chats in. Let's see what you have to say, chat.
Hey, Detroit Supremacy says Florida and Duke would mop the floor with Michigan, just like MSU did. Let's see, Jesse Adams. Florida's going to be tough for MSU, even if they beat Auburn. Florida's a better version of MSU.
I agree. Look, one thing about me, you guys know. Everyone knows I am not biased because I wear these colors. Like, Florida and Duke are much better teams than the University of Michigan. How were we here is the question. It's because they found ways to win. It's because of the grit. It's because of the grind. So I'm not going to count them out against Auburn. In fact, I think they will upset Auburn. But if you're talking about Florida, keep in mind, I just said Florida and Duke are the best teams. So I agree with you guys 100%. Florida's a well-oiled machine. They can shoot, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just scratching my forehead. I'm thinking about Tennessee. I'm thinking about how good the SEC is here.
Tennessee and Kentucky.
Thinking about how the Big Ten went 8-0. They didn't fare quite as well after the fact. But, when I'm making my brackets out, it's a lot of times I love to see those high-seed SEC teams lose early on. Yeah. This year it feels very, very different. And some of those teams that you mentioned are the reason for that. I see 6 teams all on a top tier, Duke being the top of that. But sometimes the ball bounces weird. Yeah. Sometimes the ball falls for a team that doesn't shoot great threes. Listen, we've seen a tale of 2 halves for the Spartans through 2 games. Mm-hmm. Couldn't hit anything in the first half. Couldn't miss in the second half. And if you can see a team like Michigan State or Michigan where they can put together 40 minutes, I'm sorry, but both of those teams can beat anybody in the field if they play a full game.
You don't have to, and Anson, what you just said at the you contradicted yourself at the end, and I only say that because I agree with you. You don't have to play 40 good minutes.
True.
You don't have to play 40 good minutes. You saw that with Michigan and Texas A&M. Michigan figured it out around the 6-minute mark in the second half, and they blew the doors off of Texas A&M. They didn't play good basketball to start the second half. All you got to do is finish strong in this game.
Yes,
and don't get way, way behind.
Did you pick a women's bracket, Anson?
I was just going there, man. It's a good call.
Did you pick a women's bracket, Anson?
glad I did.
I forgot.
Anyway.
I guess I forgot.
Let's face it. The player of the year, the women's right now, it's Juju Watkins. That's,
my God.
That's Ricky's girl.
No.
And
That's my girl, too.
she went down hard last
she'll know
night,
who you
man,
are.
and blew out
Pause.
her ACL. She is done for the year.
It's a terrible-looking
tear.
injury, too.
I have a question about this, and I'll explain it. I can't wait to talk to Doc on Thursday and ask about this. I tore my ACL. The recovery process for me, I was able to get back 7 months. 9 months I was able to start. So I tore my ACL. I had surgery in January of 2006. I started that season September 11th, I think was the date of the game. I'm started. If you're Juju's camp, her mother, father, people around her, her coach, her agent, trust me, she has one. Do you come back to USC next year? Because at this point, she won't be ready to play probably until January, probably conference play of next year. Conference play, you get the conference tournament, and then get drafted. Do you come out now because you still be number 1, and then just rehab already in the NBA?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. The only thing that she's going to do is hurt herself at the college level. I'm going to catch some flack for this. I believe she's a better player than Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
She's a better
Yeah,
defender.
100%.
She's a better ball handler. She can create her own shot and hit it. Now, Caitlin's got some moves, and she's got the best jumper in the game. But what Juju can do to create her own shot, to come off of screens, defensively, bringing the ball up, I mean, she looks like one of the smallest players out there, but maybe the strongest.
Great point. She's much stronger than Caitlin. Caitlin's taller probably by about
Caitlin's been putting some work in. If you look at the definition in her arms, she's going to grow. But what Juju does, she's not Angel. Angel was just a Batman and Joker type of deal. This is a true rivalry of skill when you put Juju in the WNBA and you have Caitlin Clark. You ignite the black-white debate, but you get 2 girls that absolutely can shoot the lights out and take over a game. I get that Juju's going to be out for a while, but we've seen people like J-Mo do the same thing. I think she only hurts herself going back. Maybe she wants a natty, but I don't see it. go and declare you're the greatest basketball player to come out of the girls' ranks, in my opinion. Maybe not the most celebrated, but I guess her skin's just a little too dark for that.
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, the Magic and Bird comparisons of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, they made sense because of the college rivalry and championship. But at the end of the day, Juju is definitely more comparable to Caitlin Clark to a Magic and Johnson. It would be that. Maz, where are you at with it? Like, would you come back now and lead? Same thing that Jamison Williams did. J-Mo came out.
Yeah.
J-Mo said, "The hell with that. I'm leaving college." He wasn't the number one overall.
She would be the number one overall pick,
and she still would go number one. A team would bring her in.
Yep, I would definitely declare for the WNBA and see who gets her, see who dumps for her this year.
Can we get Detroit Shock set up?
I would love
so
it.
that we get that number one pick.
I said that the other day.
Man, I said Juju in Detroit.
To the D.
I said, give us the expansion
Juju
team.
to the D.
Give us the expansion team this year and let them have the number one pick.
I'm mad she tore her ACL, man. One, I'm mad for her. I was excited to see what she was going to finish her legacy on in college and league. And then also, the next game was going to be the best game of the tournament, I think. And it was going to be Paige Beckers versus Juju.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I feel bad for women's sports as a whole because they're going to miss out on that. The viewership, the merch, all that stuff.
And it's not just that, Ricky. It's the comparison. Because if she makes a long run, all she has to do is get to the Final Four, maybe lose in the finals. Now she's right on the same level of Caitlin Clark in terms of accomplishments. And you got her coming out, going number one. And God bless Angel. I love what you're doing. But now you truly have these two girls, these two women, that you can pit the next decade of the WNBA on their backs.
But here's the kicker. And I promise after we do this segment, we'll jump into football next. We'll cut in about 2 minutes or so. It's the money thing. Juju coming back versus Juju going to the NBA, the WNBA, they don't get paid like that. So if you're leaving early, like, what's your contract? As a rookie, $90,000. Now she would make it in endorsements, but are you leaving for $90,000? Paige Beckers did the same thing. Paige Beckers tore ACL her sophomore year, and here she is out 4 years. Female basketball is a little different than male basketball.
And to your point on that, I'm on board with that. I think the one benefit that she could have coming back would be getting back and being able to be healthy, a month or a few weeks before the tournament, and then having a great tournament run where everyone's talking about her, so that when she does come out and she does get drafted, she does have all kinds of sponsorship offers. Because right now, unfortunately, the sporting world isn't on the level with Juju. Like you couldn't get anywhere without hearing about Caitlin Clark for the last 2 years. Somehow Juju has come in.
All the ads are hers.
I was about to say,
like all the commercials and ads have her in the tournament. To your point, maybe on the national. I see what Anson is saying. Like Caitlin was all year long. It wasn't just when the tournament was going on. The tournament, Juju has been nonstop on the ads. But to your point, it wasn't until the tournament you started seeing all the coverage.
But even if she came back next year, there'd be 4 months where she's not even playing. She's not getting hyped up. She's not being talked about.
She's still making her NIL money, as our guy Matt Broder in the chat. Broder's in the chat.
Broder.
Hey, you come back to college, you're making more than you're going to make at the WNBA. Why not come back to college for 2 months, play the tournament, and make some money?
That's a great point. USC probably has way more money than any of the
sometimes you got to get the pros involved. Man, we appreciate you for chiming in right there, man. He's right. Like, I think she has a $3.5 million NIL deal, which is more than any of the male basketball players.
It's hard sometimes to remember how different the funding
landscape
for men's sports and female sports, because up until NIL, we always thought these guys are itching to get out so they can get paid. But in the girls' sense, and even a lot of the college guys' sense now, if you're not going to go in and be a superstar, you're probably making more in college.
Hunter Dickinson.
What a stand-up guy that is, huh?
And with that note, we'll take a commercial break.
Sure.
Go ahead, Magic.
We got a super chat from our friend Jared Sayers, $10.
All right.
$10.
Let's give him 3 more tickets to Jared Sayers. Update on the Grand Valley women's team. They won yesterday, the D2 Final Four. Coming up Wednesday, 8:30, ESPN Plus. In his 10th year as head coach, Mike Williams' overall record, 276 wins, 49 losses.
Wow.
That's an 849 percentage. And an 862 in the GLIAC, plus 10 tournament appearances. Grand Valley going to play tomorrow in the Division II Final Four.
I thought Gino Auriemma had
Go
a hell of a-
Lakers!
I thought Gino
Anchor up.
Auriemma.
Anchor
Hey,
up.
everybody with an anchor.
You got some money going to the Lakers, right?
I do. I pay the Lakers. My kid Abby goes there. I love Grand Valley.
But you won't cheer for Michigan State.
Yes, I will.
No, he's not happy about it though.
That's a hell of a record because Ariama, I thought he had the had the fix on all.
Isn't that something?
That's a hell of a record. 49 losses
Right? That's crazy.
out of
Amazing.
just over 300 games.
Amazing.
It's like
Wow.
3
Who are the
seasons.
other 3 teams? The other opponents.
I'm not sure of the other 3. Jared, write us in for the other final.
Let us know the other 3.
On the
We'll
final
take a quick
4.
commercial break. We'll hear from Les Stanford, and when we get back, we'll have the other 3 in the final 4.
And listen, Les, Stanford, Buick, GMC, they've got great offers for everybody. Get that 24 Envision Avenir for only $299 a month, or you can get into the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $229 a month. Don't forget about that Hummer either, 2025 EV SUV for $9 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford, Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Hey guys, dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Well, Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's $5,000 in your pocket. Call Mark White and Associates today, 248-290-8242. Visit them online as well, markwhitesells.com. Again, that number, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Anson.
Hey, and we got Buddy's Pizza. The legendary Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit style dish, 1946, and that original location there at 6 Mile and Connet. 79 years with 22 locations in the state of Michigan. Listen, sign up today for Buddy's Rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza app today and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save that 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That's the pound 10 MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com.
Before we jump into the NFL, the Lions, Anson has some things for you as well. But before that, if you could bring back one restaurant, what would you bring back?
Ooh.
Well, bringing back a restaurant?
Bringing back a restaurant. Just thinking about Buddy's 1946.
I got one.
I'm like,
I got one.
Go ahead.
Bilbo's up in East Lansing.
Bozos.
Bilbo's.
Bilbo.
Those Hobbit sticks.
Like Bilbo Baggins?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it had like an old Hobbit tree on the cover. It was right down in MAC, right in the thick of things, which is all like $100,000 condos now. But Bilbo's was fire. They had this like dill cream that you would put the Hobbit sticks in. Oh, Bilbo's.
Ooh, yeah.
Hobbit sticks. I like that.
That's
Price
crazy.
served mutton too. What you got for me, Ricky?
This little spot in Royal Oak used to call Detroit Dogs. Did y'all
I know what you're talking about.
They had corny dog with the bacon on there.
I know Detroit dogs.
Outside of
100%.
Woody's.
I know exactly what you're talking
All day.
about.
I missed that spot. Late night, 2 o'clock in the morning, Royal Oak.
On by the train tracks.
Yep, right
Yo,
by
I know
the train
exactly what
tracks.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Tom, Mazaway. We got Bilbo's. We got Detroit dogs.
I got a Jersey spot.
Okay, that's cool.
I got a Jersey spot.
cool.
I want to bring back Callahan's hot dogs.
Hot-
Deep fried hot dogs.
Two hot dog
Best
spots in a
fries.
row.
They had the best fries, but the deep fried hot dogs, those things would be outstanding.
That's why your stomach hurt, man.
And they
right, your stomach hurt.
and something like
A carnival hot dog.
and something I can't find in Michigan. They had Birch beer on tap. Birch beer is a
I've never even
non-alcoholic.
heard of
It's
it.
a drink. It's like root beer.
Okay.
But they called it Birch beer.
Like
It's got a
sarsaparilla?
Like sarsaparilla. Exactly.
Wow.
I love me some sarsaparilla.
Oh my God.
you
Give
got?
me
How
some
old are you,
Birch beer,
Anson?
man.
Listen, give me ginger ale, give me root beer,
Yeah.
and give me sarsaparilla.
Sarsaparilla. I like
Old
it.
soul, baby. Let's go.
Pete, you're on deck, buddy.
Dude, Club 500, I-94 in Whittier.
That sounds like a strip club.
That's
no,
right,
no,
man.
no,
That's
no,
right. Right
no,
next to
I
the
agree.
Flight Club or what?
No,
Club
that's a strip
500
club.
was the place where you got Buddy's style pizza. They served the square style pizza, Buddy's style. But then they had a huge row of arcade video games, like 8 of them. So it was a great place for like the locals to bring their kids and just have some pie.
You just
and go to
connected the
town.
dots for me, Pete.
What's up?
Detroit style pizza, it's called that because the legendary Buddies, that's how they made their pizza.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody around Metro Detroit has copied for the last 79 years.
out
And that
to
is why Deep Dish Square is the best pizza in the world and known around the world as Detroit style. Shout out, Buddies.
Yeah.
Hey, William Turnbull in the chat. Bring back the cafeteria at Kmart.
Oh, yes. Ham and cheese sandwiches in a bag? Yes, please. That's a deep
I'll say
cut.
just bring back Kmart. I love my local Kmart. I loved my local Kmart.
Who said that?
Bill Turnbull, William Turnbull.
In the chat?
Yeah.
We're going to give him 2 tickets.
I was just about to
We're
say,
gonna
he's
get-
gotta
we're
get-
gonna
Yeah,
get
that
2 tickets.
deserves
He's got to
it.
at least get
We're gonna give him 2 inches. That was fire. He got me thinking about the Kmart
2
on
tickets for Turnbull.
Battelle 12 back in the day, right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Well, because they had the arcade.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So you had the
Little
Kmart
Caesars.
cafeteria, you had the
Little Caesars
arcade,
pizza.
and the food court. Like, so yeah, he took me back with that one. That's 2 inches.
dope.
For me, it'd be 1942 Chop House. You call me bougie all you want to, man. 1942 as a kid on Jefferson Road.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was the stuff. My parents used to go there in the 80s. I think Emmanuel Sanders opened it and owned it.
Emmanuel
Place
Stewart.
was amazing, but like all the stars was there. So I remember seeing Isaiah Thomas and Tommy Hearns and Joe Dumars and Red. Like that was what I remember about the 80s. So give me 1942 Chop House.
Can I also
call,
put the
Bray.
Palace Grill on that list?
Hell yeah. Anything
Palace
at
Grill.
Palace.
Please,
Oh.
Palace.
Anything Palace is okay in my book.
Man.
Anything Palace,
Palace
is okay.
Grill was
Or
great,
the Hoop
dude.
City Grill at the Star South.
Across
when it
the-
first
Oh, I got
Oh,
one.
I remember that.
The only restaurant that was near the Palace, Mountain Jack's.
Oh, off 75.
Mountain Jack.
Mountain Jack's.
That's the pub now.
How about Hoops? Remember they had like
Hoops,
2
yes.
or 3 little
It was right there on
locations?
the corner. You ran right into it.
Yes, sir.
You
I love
ran
me
right
some
into it
Hoops.
before you got on there.
Is the old Caucus Club still open, man?
Yes, Caucus Club is
is
still
it?
going. Yes.
My dad used to go there a
Yeah,
lot.
it's cool, man.
You guys took us back with that. All
That's
right.
a great question.
Good
That was
question,
fun.
Got me
Bray.
Yeah, it been a while since Buddies has been back on the spectrum for me, so it got me thinking, what spots have disappeared? And
question.
those are some good ones. All right, let's get into the NFL. Let's get into football. Anson, you got a draft day proposed situation.
Do we have that? Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, do we have it?
I have no idea.
It's on
Find
there.
that draft bell for me, but
Yep.
Detroit Lions fans, Just imagine it's day one, NFL draft. Your Detroit Lions haven't made the big splash in free agency. They haven't traded for Myles Garrett. They haven't even gotten your boy from the Raiders. But all of a sudden, somebody walks up to the stage. The commissioner, Roger Goodell, says, we have a trade. The Pittsburgh Steelers have traded the number 20. There it is, Bray. Thank you. The number 21 overall pick to the Detroit Lions for the number 28 pick. And Hendon Hooker, and with that number 21, the Detroit Lions select defensive tackle Derek Harmon. Where do you guys feel? Listen, you guys know. There it is. Chat, I want to hear how you guys feel. Get those super chats in. Remember, you're going to get yourself a Braylon Edwards signed autograph rookie card if you come in with the most today. And we got that month-long competition. I want to see the super chats. Are you for or against this trade? Maybe even Petey can put a poll up. Gentlemen, how do you feel about this deal?
I'll go first. I'm up for anything that the Lions think they want to do. If Brad Holmes' guy is in the top 15.
Oh, the fans have folded you?
What I mean by that? No, on draft. Okay. Strictly draft. He sucks at free agents. Strictly draft. All right? He owns the draft as far as I'm concerned.
Free agents.
Him and Howie Roseman own the draft. Yeah. And Brett Veach in Kansas City. 3 great drafters. But if Brad Holmes' guy is there at 15 to 21, I'll just say 21. If his guy's there at 21 and the Steelers are there, I would definitely make that call. And if I have to sweeten it with another pick later, maybe next year, a 4th-round pick, a 5th-round pick, I'd sweeten it to go get the guy he believes will put the Lions over the hump on that right side of the defensive line.
Pete, I'm going to let you go. Go ahead. What you got?
Oh, hang on. I was doing the poll. Can you
in that case, I'll do it. Look, for me, I like it. I like what Matt said. If it's Brad Holmes' guy, they've shown us time and time again when they go and get their guys, whether it's Sam Laporte, whether it's Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs, most notably, they went up to pick 12. It tends to work. So, yeah, I agree with Matt. If there's a guy there that they believe can turn the tide for this defensive line, then I'm all for it. But I want it to be defensive line. I don't want to be tricked. I don't want to move up and all of a sudden it's a receiver, or they move up and it's an offensive line. I want an offensive line. I think they got to get offensive line. But defensive line, I think, is the biggest concern. I am now at the point with the Lions where, look, Brad Holmes put a great team together this year. There were a lot of injuries this year. You expect all these guys to come back. Fine. You've done your job of adding depth, and your offense is still your offense. So you know what? I'm good with that because this is where they do well, and it's in the draft. If there's a situation there, I don't mind getting rid of Hendon Hooker and moving up to 21, but no further. I told it the other day. I said maybe 12. I don't even want to go that far because the assets that you would have to give up, the cap space, the money that you would have to give up to give 12 or 11 is a lot. 21, much like last year we went to 22, I think it's a safe spot.
Chat seems to like it. 75% yes.
Broder says they have to throw in Roman Wilson.
Oh, God.
Shout out to Broder.
I wouldn't hate that trade either. Now, let me ask you guys.
Bring him back home.
Because we've gone back and forth. You guys know that I've been a fan of the Hendon Hooker move. I've heard a lot of people not happy with it. And the fact that we brought on Teddy Bridgewater and gave him a snap really might have dented the value of a Hendon Hooker. To me, I think that jumping from 28 to 21 would require a 3rd-round pick. Does that sound right?
It could.
Would it require more?
I see what you're saying. So no player, keep the player.
No, I'm saying, does that, if that trade happened, does that define Hendon Hooker as still having 3rd-round value?
I see what you're saying. I think so.
I think so too. And you're looking, Mason Rudolph is the number one quarterback in Pittsburgh right now.
Aaron Rodgers will be there.
Sure, but Pittsburgh knows what Aaron Rodgers brings, and that could be the destruction of Mike Tomizzo Tomlin.
Where are you, Aaron? All right, so now that we have more information, Maz, I'm glad you brought it up. Here we go, Aaron Rodgers.
He still has the signs.
100%. Now he goes to Pittsburgh after many say that the Viking situation was over. He goes to Pittsburgh, leaves without signing, did not sign a deal, and now it seems as if it's come out from his camp that he doesn't believe that they have a culture there, an offensive culture. Like that's what. So now it appears that he's going to do what Maz said in one regard, wait through spring, wait through the draft, and really see what's going on with the job on the West Coast.
I want to show you this play. Pete, I want to play this cut. Najee Harris. I'm going to give you a minute to go bring that up.
Yep.
Najee Harris left
buddy.
the Steelers. Now, he never really became that number one guy that we all thought he was going to be. So now he's with the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh, and I believe that he is going to probably be top 10 running back this year, at least in fantasy. I can tell you that. But here's Najee Harris talking about his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It was just a team where, we lost Ben, we lost a lot of the O-line. We just didn't know anything on offense, really. We didn't have identity. We had a young guy coming at quarterback. I was young, the team was young, and I really didn't have nobody to almost learn from the offensive side. I think the veteran guy on that team was like a 2-3 year vet, and that's really nothing. You know what I mean? Like, he's still learning himself, and I'm coming in and I'm just trying to look for people to pick their brain off of, and it was just defensive guys. So I'll go to the defensive guys to talk to them, but it wouldn't be too much they could tell me about an offensive thing. You know what I mean? So. Through my years, I learned a lot that, only I learned.
Outside of missing a couple games, and not being there for the team, Najee Harris is a running back. He's absolutely correct. Najee Harris, when they provided him with offensive line early on in the career, it seemed like he had some success. They never paid any offensive linemen. They never brought in that tackle that really can help out the quarterback and protect his blind side, or a pulling guard to help Najee Harris out. They've been very negligent on the offensive side of the ball.
First time they're paying a wide receiver is
and
down.
Look how much
Metcalf.
they're paying DK Metcalf,
Yeah.
who doesn't deserve that. I'm talking about from them.
Yeah.
I'm saying like to what they
It's
need.
odd.
DK Metcalf, fine, $30 million in this market, fine. But I'm talking about what they need. It's not another $30 million receiver, because Pickens will end up being one.
But Pickens
The
is a-
offensive
is a-
side
he's
of
a-
the
he's a-
ball,
he's a
they
crack-
neglect.
he's a
Defensive.
crackpot.
You said what? True, but I'm
Pickens
just
is a
talking about the
crackpot.
talent. Look,
Yeah.
on the defensive side of the ball, they do it right. Cameron Hayward, Minka Fitzpatrick, the list goes on, and players that they've had over the years. But offense, they neglect. They are the reverse option of the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals put everything on offense and no defense. So, like, that's maybe why Aaron Rodgers went and did the whole 9 yards, linked up with Tomlin. Oh, it's Pittsburgh. Oh, it's the 5 Super Bowls. Yeah, where's the culture? Where's the offensive lineman? What is this going to look like? Because this isn't turf. Like, that field gets nasty when you start to get November.
I don't think that a quarterback can come in and take the Pittsburgh Steelers over the top. The team that they had last year and the team that they have this year. Well, no, honestly, what I've seen out of Rodgers, I can't say that he's a whole lot better than Russell Wilson at this point in his career. So, what, an extra 5-6 touchdowns? Another, few hundred yards?
Well,
I don't see the quarterback being the problem in Pittsburgh. I think that they're a good team, but they just don't have enough personnel. To make a move for a guy like Hendon Hooker that you can build around, that's still on a rookie third-round deal. That's not a lot of money, and you got him for a little bit of time.
I know, but isn't he worthless?
I've never thought Hendon Hooker was worthless.
Well, the Lions think he's worthless because they didn't use him as a backup.
Just listen, one snap to Teddy Bridgewater in a playoff game does not insist that a player is worthless. It just means that he wasn't ready for that moment in their eyes.
Well,
for
was
Pittsburgh
there
to
2
bring
years.
in a guy like that versus starting the season off with Mason Rudolph or paying $20 million to Aaron Rodgers.
He wants 30.
There you go. I think that Pittsburgh's in a much better situation to make that kind of a trade, still land a first-round player at 28, get a guy like Hendon Hooker that they can see what they have in and build around for 2 years, but then use that other $25+ million to bring in some help.
Whoa, you're talking about bringing Hendon Hooker in this trade and actually start him.
Well, who else are they going to start? Mason Rudolph?
Well, I thought you were still trying to go get them a quarterback at some point, or have them go get a quarterback.
I think that
Hendon Hooker's not. If I'm the Jets, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm not ready to put myself in a situation to bring in Hendon Hooker.
I am not willing to spend $30 million on a one-year guy that's in his 40s.
That's cool, but
I would be willing to come in.
It's not either or, though.
No, I'd
It's
be
not
willing to
Hendon
go
or
and get a
Aaron.
Danny Dimes type of deal. And obviously he's already been signed, but
Yeah.
if you can get a guy that's kind of been good but kind of been bad and struggled, but he's started some games.
Kirk Cousins.
There you go. That would be a perfect
Because
situation.
Kurt already got paid.
Yeah, but those types of deals where you can find a guy that's in the $12 million range, and then also bring in Hooker, let the two of them battle it out in camp, and you hope that the young guy takes the reins. And now you've got a quarterback for at least 2 years that might be something, and you're not paying through the teeth to keep.
Yeah, if I'm looking at it that way, you're gonna have to add something else to the equation if you're talking about that, because I don't think.
But you got $25 million that you didn't spend on Aaron Rodgers to do that.
Yeah, but then I'm bringing in a guy in Hendon Hooker who I obviously have no faith, no trust in, and his own organization, in my eyes, didn't have faith and trust in him. Now, I am agreeing on Anson's side that we make a lot of the one handoff. You make a lot, but with that being said, I'm not bringing him in thinking that he can do anything, because I haven't seen the Lions believe that he can do a thing.
Lions are going to have to throw in another draft pick,
I
whether
agree.
it be this year or next year. I'm not talking about another number 1. I'm talking about maybe a 4.
2026.
To move 6 spots, you got to do a little bit more than that. I don't think Hooker's going to get it done, although we wish he would have, because obviously they didn't believe enough in him. And I know. Guys are like, I know they love Teddy Bridgewater. He's a pro's pro. I know all of that. It just looks bad. It was a bad look for him.
So, let me just throw some names out here. Sam Darnold signed. Justin Fields signed. Danny Jones. I mean, who's left out there?
I'm really not trying to solve the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation.
Sure, but it puts a demand because of the lack of supply on a player like Hendon Hooker. And I just don't see any better time to capitalize on that unless this regime likes Hendon enough where they still want to keep him around.
At this point, they're stuck with him. I don't believe that he garners enough in the trade at this point. Would I do it? Sure, but I don't think anybody would do it at this particular point. I don't think there's that buzz there, much like there is in New England about Joe Milton.
Right.
Maz, can't wait to talk about this topic. The number 1 overall potential player, it's a different day and age now. When I was coming out, I didn't have the social media to tell you who to draft. Nowadays, you can tell who to draft and why you believe that, Maz.
That's right. Penn State's all pro. I'm going to put him as an all pro already. All-American Abdul Carter.
Yeah, he's consensus All-American.
He is.
Yeah.
Well, he went out on X today and he says, listen, the best player goes number 1. That's his quote. And it doesn't have to be a quarterback, he says. The best player
I agree,
goes number 1. What do you think about that one? Does Abdul Carter, with his injury, with the stress fractures,
He's fine.
Does he go number 1, or is it a quarterback?
But don't even say the stress fracture. Just say Abdul Carter, because his foot is fine. You answer that.
If Tennessee holds a pick, it'll be a quarterback. If they trade the pick, I could see it being Carter. There's a perception of a large fall off after Cam. Some people are in on Shador. Some people are out. This Jackson Dart kid is now starting to get mocked in the top 10. There's a lot of stupid teams and a lot of stupid owners and a lot of stupid GMs in this league. And everyone is so desperate to get in on that rookie quarterback pay scale that I just don't see these teams getting away from a quarterback at number 1 right now.
Hey, Pete, put up that quote again, if you still have it.
Yeah, hang on, buddy.
Because the chat, Prop Do says, that font shows character issues.
Right. No,
That's what Ricky said.
What man changes the font on his X account?
Read that font. Read that whole thing there, Anson.
Oh, my God.
How do you do that?
Right.
Oh, number 1 overall pick, 30 days away. Don't let all this QB need talk fool y'all. It's already known who's the best, and no QB is in that discussion. Like I said, the best player goes number 1. I'd like to think that that's the way that it is, but it's not, because, again,
Then he writes generational.
Listen.
He writes generational, remember.
Right.
Generational.
That's a sassy font.
What I would say about this is it's given 2025. That's exactly what it's given. Look, I tell you this. To his comment about the best players go number 1 overall, no, they don't. The team that has the pick, based on what they need, is what the number 1 pick is, and usually it's a quarterback. That's typically the position people at the number 1 spot. Either they got there because they were the worst team in the league and they need a quarterback, or they got there because they traded up, much like the Bears did, to get the number 1 overall pick. So he's wrong in that regard. The number 1 player doesn't get taken. It's the team that needs it, and usually it's a quarterback.
Jamarcus
But
Russell.
Here's the deal. I think he's a phenomenal talent, and I don't say that just because he's Big Ten. I think he is the best defensive player in this draft, and I think he is. I think him and Travis Hunter, because Travis Hunter and what he can do, you're talking about talent, I think he's the best player. Abdul Carter right there. But here's the defensive ends, or the rush ends that have been drafted number 1 overall because they were that generational talent, because we picked them, because they were the best player in the draft, and what they've done. Remember 2022 when we had the number 2 pick?
Of course I do.
Well, who went number 1 overall?
Trayvon Walker.
Was he the best player in the draft?
He's on the trade block.
When you look back at it, he was a defensive player. We
Yep.
want to bring him in. He's going to be the guy to get to the quarterback. Yeah, apparently didn't do that too well. Myles Garrett.
He was.
There you go. I give you that one. Jadeveon Clowney.
He had a pretty darn good career.
Okay career.
Career.
Nowhere where he went did he affect his team.
Correct.
And Myles Garrett, to that point, since you want to go back to Myles Garrett, he went number 1 overall. He deserves to be number 1 overall. But Maz, what has his team done?
Nothing.
And they've now paid him a ton of money.
He's still around.
And guess what? And they still suck.
Yeah, he's still around too.
So he's right in the sense that he could be the best player in this draft, but it's not about that. It's about what teams need. And you're talking to Tennessee Titans. They cannot afford to be in this division, to be in this NFL, have the number 1 pick, and not take a quarterback. If it's not Cam Ward, then it's just not Cam Ward. But you had to take Cam Ward this year. You got to take Cam Ward this year because your team needs a quarterback.
And I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
Christmas break, I went home to Jersey to see my family. And I took Lily to see her first New York Giants game at MetLife Stadium. We were there. We had great seats for cheap. And the Giants, all they had to do was lose to have the number 1 pick. Well, Drew Lock threw 4 touchdowns, ran another one in.
I remember that game.
And they beat the Colts. Colts needed to win to get in the playoffs. I have a chance to get in the playoffs. So the Giants, who are quarterback desperate, and they let Danny Dimes walk, so they're still quarterback desperate. They are sitting and waiting now to see what Tennessee is going to do. And I know, and we're going to take a break before I tell you about the Tennessee deal. But Tennessee is sitting there, and they hold all the cards. And the Giants had their chance. And I know players don't like to dump games. They want to win. But, man, that was a costly win for the New York Giants.
And we'll talk about that in a second. First, let's get a message in from good old Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. And now, over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations. Planet Fitness is the gym for you. That's where I work out. That's where everybody is starting to work out. The gyms are clean, and the trainers know what they're doing. There's also no judgment, so you can feel free to work out at your own pace. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is not only essential, but it's good.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Oh, yeah, everybody. We are the #1 sports digital media platform in all of Michigan and basically the entire world. I have to say that myself, and I think a lot of people here would agree with me. I hope you agree with me, too. We have 6 family members over there to my right for you to choose from to catch all of our programming. YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. Like, share, subscribe, and join. Come be a part of our family here at Woodward Sports. We love you. We hope that you love us too. Come be a part of our family. Ricky!
And after you do that, you already got your browser open. Go to shop.woodwardsports.com. I know you're tired of wearing that same old Detroit sports merch. We got new merch for you. And tomorrow is very, very special. March 26, 1997. Hey, Anson, do you know what happened that day?
What day?
March 26, 1997.
You were born?
No.
That's D-Mac Day.
That's D-Mac Day. Claude Lemieux. Did I say that right? Because I have no idea who it is.
Yes, you did.
He beat the snot out of him. I was just watching the video. That was crazy, man. That was crazy. We got D-Mac merch on the website. Go get it now. Shop.woodwardsports.com, along with all the merch for your favorite Detroit sports. Happy D-Mac Day tomorrow. Go on there.
And we'll talk about that more a little bit tomorrow. But like what that day means to me, since you brought it up, man, is like that. You talking about teams representing the spirit of the city.
Yeah.
Talk about Dan Campbell and the grit and the grind and what they are. They are truly Detroit. The Tigers and kind of how they clawed their way to the playoffs, if you want to do that. But the Pistons, the bad boy. That is when Detroit hockey was officially born in the new age. He beat the hell out of them. And if you remember, the age-old adage with the Red Wings, they were finesse. They were too soft. They couldn't beat the Avalanche, who were the bigger and the aggressor and the bruisers. We just scored all the goals. That response to what Claude Lemieux did to Osgood, that response is when Red Wing hockey was born. And then after that, they couldn't be beat because they could score with anybody. They were the best scorers in the league. They could do all the things. It was that physicality. After that,
and that was the first team I ever. I'll tell you that story. That was the first team I ever watched. Was that team, that Red Wings team, man, and that set the tone for how I look at the Red Wings throughout my entire life.
Yeah, I started watching when they got swept by the Devils in '95. That's why every time Maz brings him up, because he's from Jersey, I'm like, Maz, shut up.
Sorry,
okay, I hate the Devils.
Young
Marty
kids.
Brodeur.
100%. Before we jump back into the NFL, Anson, tell us about. We got what? 2 more days of the contest?
That's right. Shout out James, Jared, Byrne, and B. Martin starting things off in the first hour with some awesome super chats. Don't forget, whoever leads the day today, we're sending you a Braylon Edwards rookie card. Oh, and he signed it for you too. But remember, whoever comes in on top of the month, you are getting the Braylon Parlay Pistons package. You're going to get a pair of seats to go and see the Pistons, but you get an awesome dinner beforehand at Parlay. So get those super chats in. You got another hour. I want to send this card home to somebody, and we want to send somebody to a Pistons game.
All right, we got a couple more coming in here. We got B. Martin. Let's give him another ticket. The writing was on the wall about Hooker when the Lions brought in Coach Bridgewater off the street to back up Goff. Burns got another couple tickets. The issue is Bray and Maz are smarter than some of the owners with cash to burn. There are a lot of quarterbacks who have been picked up in the head-scratching moves.
No doubt.
Thank you, Burn.
And that's what we talked about, man. There's a lot of dumb teams with dumb owners, meddling owners, and dumb GMs. And there is this need to have somebody over under center that can sell some jerseys. I guess my question for you guys is last year you and I were on the same page. We like Jaden Daniels above the field, right? Everybody was saying Caleb Williams was this generational quarterback. Now Cam Ward is #1 on everybody's board.
I don't want people to come at me sideways. I said I like Jaden Daniels for sure, but also I said I like Caleb Love. So I don't want people to say, no, you said Caleb Love. I said I like them both.
Caleb Williams.
You had
some love for him.
Yeah.
But, so to me, I'm looking at these 3 guys. I really like what Shedeur brings to the table. He's very immobile, which is shocking because his dad and a brother, they're kind of fast. But this Jackson Dart kid, he has
a great name.
I think you're going to see him move up the boards a la Baker Mayfield a few years ago. What was that, 2018, when everybody was saying it was going to be Darnold this, maybe even Josh Rosen, but it ended up being Baker Mayfield. I think Jackson Dart has the best opportunity to be the premier quarterback out of this class. Am I crazy?
We don't know yet. We got to get our scout guys on here. We need our guys to come in a little bit here before I really get into Jackson Dart. I don't want to see the Giants reaching for a quarterback as a Giant fan. So that brings me to the Titans, who have the number 1 pick.
Who?
The Titans are in love with Cam Ward. Matter of fact, they have set up a personal workout with Cam Ward. And I think he goes there unless somebody really wows them with something. And they're sitting with Will Levis. Obviously, they reached on him, and I think he went in round 2 or 3. I forgot how. Did he go in round 2?
He went 2. Yeah, his first pick of the second round, or the second pick. Yeah.
So that failed. It just did. You saw Brian Callahan last year basically bench him every other game, and they gave him a chance. He just could not come up with the goods. He made a lot of mistakes, that kid. I don't know if he looks like he's got it sometimes, and then sometimes he looks like he don't know what the hell he's doing. So they need a quarterback. A lot of teams do. But it looks like the Titans are set on Cam Ward right now. What do we got? 30 days till we start drafting?
Yeah, look, and this is typical for the NFL draft. This is around the time that you know who the number 1 quarterback is, who's going to be picked. It's going to be Cam Ward. He has the strongest arm. He's the most athletic. He's reliable stats. It's looking at the field is what do I see? It's not comparing Cam Ward to the number 1 picks before, Shedeur to 2024, 2023. This isn't that year. This is 2025. And in this year, Cam Ward is probably your best pick at a quarterback, and that's what the Tennessee Titans need. And that's whoever's going to have the number 1 pick. Somehow the Giants would have got the number 1. Well, they blew that, Maz. The Titans have the number 1 pick. They need a quarterback. The quarterback is Cam Ward. That's what's going to happen. He is the best prospect in this draft, although I do think Shedeur Sanders will be better than people think. I think people are crazy.
I'm high on Shedeur Sanders. The only way that I see the Titans not taking Cam Ward at 1 is if they were to come up with a draft day trade with the New Orleans Saints picking at number 9, in which case I think the Jackson Dart would still be on the board for the Titans around 9.
You keep bringing up this Jackson Dart. What about Jackson Dart has turned this leaf? Because I've watched Jackson Dart. I know his story. I know where he started. I know where he ended. Excuse me. No one has him ranked in the where is he ranked right now?
He's been in the first round since the
combine.
Since the combine,
Right.
And I watched the combine. His presence, his arm, the way that other players gravitated towards him versus now, obviously, Shedeur wasn't there, throwing and whatnot, but this guy really has that stench of a come out of nowhere guy, much like Anthony Richardson was a guy that was, 6,000 to 1 odds to be the number 1 pick.
And look how that happened, though.
Well, and I'm not saying it's, he was a great player or anything, but all of a sudden, guys that were not talked about, the next thing you know, a couple weeks leading up to the draft, they end up in that spot, and they're kind of hyped. I do think this, though, and I'm going to hear from Maz on this, I think Shedeur Sanders to the Big Apple is such a foregone conclusion. I don't know if there's been any more sure thing, in my opinion, in the last couple of drafts. This is a team without a quarterback, without a direction, and this is the most marketable player in this draft. Now, it could go one way or the other. He could turn sour, and the city of New York hates him overnight. But this kid is so marketable. 6 offensive coordinators, 2 different college teams. He's done nothing but take bad teams and make them good. Sure, he supposedly has a problem in interviews, but this is a young black man that is a millionaire and has a.
He's just a young man.
But listen, no, you got to bring that in, because when you talk about anonymous coaches saying that he was a bad interview, I think that bad interview is just because some people are clutching their pearls and they don't like a man of that color, of that age, in that position of confidence and power, with a safety net of neon Deion Sanders behind him.
They don't like his father.
Oh, 100. There's so many things they don't like about
father.
him. And I'm going to tell you right now, Shedeur Sanders is such a polarizing athlete, but he's going to be all over billboards in New York. Maz, how do you feel about your future under center for the New York Football Giants being Shedeur Sanders?
If they can't get Cam Ward, I would definitely draft Shedeur Sanders, and Deion wants him in New York. The bright lights won't be too bright for this kid. He's got prime time as his dad.
Yeah, he's just
I think he's got enough talent, and if Braylon's on it, I got enough belief in the kid. Let's face it, he's been under a lot of scrutiny at Colorado. His dad put him under that scrutiny. I believe that he can become a very good quarterback, and I think he'd be a great New York Giant.
Pete, you know what? We didn't set Maz up the proper way because, here we are going around the NFL, and we didn't play the proper intro and set Maz up the right way to
you want to do that?
around the NFL. Everybody's asking questions. This is Maz.
Big trades, big moves. Who's starting? Who's injured? What does it all add up to? It's time for Around the NFL on Ermanni and Edwards with Maz.
Football.
There we go, baby. Pro Football Hall of Fame. I wore it today. I know it's not football season, but it always is.
It's always football season in Detroit.
To me. So Shedeur Sanders, if Deion wants him in New York, he wants his son to be drafted high. I get it. He's a dad. I get it.
Deion understands the bright lights.
The best quarterback in the draft is Cam Ward. He's got it all. We don't know. We didn't see a lot of him. He's been bounced around a little bit, but I think there's enough in him that he'd be a terrific number 1 draft pick. If the Giants were picking number 1, I think it would be a no doubt about it. Tennessee's picking number 1. They already had a quarterback a couple of years ago in Will Levis. Are they going to do it again? They do need a quarterback. They don't have Ryan Tannehill anymore. Right. By the way, Ryan Tannehill talking to the Vikings to perhaps be the backup to
that'd
JJ.
Be beautiful.
Speaking of backups, Giants signed Jameis Winston. 2 years,
they
$8
signed
million.
their quarterback already. Giants have their quarterback already.
America's
it's Jameis.
QB.
Yeah.
Jameis got 2 years, $8 million. How about that?
Funniest player in the NFL. Easy.
New York's going to love him.
I love this
he's
guy.
Gonna be great. He's going to do well for himself. He'll probably end up retiring, do media in New York when it's all said and done. This is a good move. At the end of the day, a backup's job is not to go to the NFL. It's not to go to the Super Bowl. It's not to be the best quarterback. That's why he's a backup. A backup's job is when the quarterback gets hurt and he misses 4 games, you go 2-2. Like, that's a backup's job, and Jameis Winston can do that better than anybody in the NFL. So I think it's a good move for them.
Well, especially if they draft a guy like Shedeur Sanders. I think one of the very interesting things that we have to take into account is I don't recall any stories about Shedeur being a bad teammate. I don't hear any stories about conflict in the locker room or in the huddle around Shedeur Sanders. But he is a big personality, and he does come attached to his dad. Somebody like Jameis Winston, a guy that everyone loves, you put those 2 guys in a quarterback room, I think you're putting Shedeur in a great position to succeed with a guy like Jameis mentoring him.
Yeah. I think I was gonna go somewhere else with it, but you know what I'm saying. I've been in church lately. My spirit is.
There you go.
Now I want to hear it. Now I want to hear it.
My spirit is working with me.
Holy Spirit.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Jameis has been in enough spaces where he's been mentored by others, and now he's been in some spaces where he's set behind quarterbacks, and he can help us, Shedeur Sanders. So if this is, which seems like the move, seems like Shedeur Sanders to New York, the bright lights, the billboards, he has Deion's personality, but the one thing he also has, which is Deion, you never heard any BS about Deion when it was football season, when it was on the field, when it was in the locker room, when it was in the classroom. He was always there. He was a responsible teammate. He was a great teammate, great guy in the locker room. So that's where he comes from. He comes from that cloth, and you saw that, as you said, Jackson State, they were not a good football team. He got there. He was able to lead them. He got to Colorado. We know what that was, and was able to lead them. So I think Deion has taken all the good from his father as well as some of the flash as well.
I like that, man.
If I had to pick one of these 3 that's
like
going to
that.
have the best career, it's absolutely Shedeur Sanders. I mean, you can have a terrible first year, and then guess what you do during the summer? You go to Boulder, and you train with the
Malik Neighbors?
Buffaloes, right?
Yeah, Colorado Buffalo.
Yeah, so you've got this safety net of prime time. Your father's whole network of trainers and support staff and medical professionals and just a whole team of players that you can work with all offseason. It's going to be so hard for Shedeur to fail. And the things that people love to worry about with him, his confidence, I don't think that's really going to work against him.
What do you think of Jalen Carter this year? You think he had a pretty good year?
I don't know why you're asking me, because I'm still pissed.
Just throwing it out there for you.
Yes, he had an amazing year. He was able to anchor that Eagles defense, which was the best defense in the league. You saw how they finished. They won the Super Bowl, and they just completely destroyed the offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs. There was so much focus in the middle. Jalen Carter, you had 2 guys on the outside both had 2 sacks.
The reason I bring that up is ML Football put it out. Next year, Jalen Carter will be getting a 4-year, $160 million extension.
That's $42 million a year.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not too bad. It's not signing it yet, but that's what's on the docket. And you ask why the Philadelphia Eagles didn't spend a lot of money on free agents. It's because they got to save money for this guy.
And they got this right. They got this from Brad Holmes. You know, and Howie. Well, let me not say that because Howie Roseman has been. Look, he's been doing this now for a strong 8 years. So he's been doing it. But this is what Brad Holmes is. A page out of that book. Let me pay my guy that I drafted, and I told him, hey, look. If you ball out, if you do what we want you to do, you get to the quarterbacks, you hold that defense down so that everybody around you can have success. We'll take care of you. He won the Super Bowl in year 3, or year 3. This is par for the course. They took care of theirs. They didn't take
years
outside.
old. God.
He definitely revived the debate because prior to this past season, I think all Lions fans were very, very happy with Jahmyr Gibbs. Just a year later,
We still are happy with
well,
it.
surely, but the whole debate was we should have taken Jalen, and then it was we're really happy with Jahmyr. But after his year last year, the debate is back on the table.
Yeah, my big thing with the defensive side of the ball, and I've always said it. One, I told you he was par for the course. He would be part 2 of Aaron Donald. The fact that was on the table, the fact that we knew it in a national championship game that was full of stars. In fact, there were 3 number ones in the game that they played against Alabama. It was Trayvon Walker. It was all these guys, all these linebackers, half the Eagles roster, all these stars and studs, J-Mo, Jahmyr, all that. He by far was the best player on the field. Every time I saw him, the Georgia-Michigan game, I ain't see anybody else. I saw him. So I knew what he was going to be at this level, and he is that.
Yeah.
You can build around that for years and years to come.
How did the Eagles get him, by the way? I forget.
Because of
They
the race.
traded up to get him?
They traded up, but also because of the free.
Or was that the
No.
Antonio
They
Brown?
had 2 first rounds. They had 2 first rounds, and they traded. They had 2
Someone
first
will
rounds.
remember in the chat how the
They
Eagles
had
got the sit
they
up
had
there.
2 first rounds, and people passed on them because of the racing situation that's going on in
Right.
Athens. Also, they got an epidemic going on down there with Georgia players and racing.
Yeah, they do.
Like legitimately, like
No, for real.
they put out a clip. There's like 27 guys that have been caught racing in Athens, Georgia. University. They got to fix
They
that.
must have some good roads there.
But yeah, it's the country,
Great roads.
100%.
Secret
But with
roads.
that being said, because of that coming out, and the individual had died, and he ran away from the scene of the accident at the time, which he wasn't involved in the accident. He's a bad guy. He's a bad teammate. You don't want to bring this around. You don't want this in your locker room. The Lions passed on him. Other teams passed on. The Eagles, who had some of his teammates already and knew what it was, they pulled the look. We got a good situation in the process. You were able to get Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, as well as Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs. Right? That's what we believe. You still could have had 3. Was always my only thing. You still could have had Jahmyr Gibbs. You still could have had Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, and Jalen Carter. You just wouldn't have got Jack Campbell. That was the only thing I ever said.
Kenneth Grant, no trade. I'll be happy with him at 28, even though the chat thinks I wouldn't be. He not wearing corn and blue when he's in Detroit.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, too, is that he's going to be like Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald went to Pitt. Aaron Donald, we had to wait to see if he was going to become that. Teams didn't take a chance because he was a small.
I'm so sorry about that. I apologize.
Oh, no, you're good. Like, when Aaron Donald, it was kind of like a wait and see. Oh, he's undersized. And he became that. You knew. He went to Georgia. And then he was the best player, 2 national championships. So
Hey, Anson's trade proposal with the Steelers. Would the Lions send the Steelers the number 28 pick and Hendon Hooker for pick number 21?
they would be idiotic to do that trade.
67% said yes, 32% said no.
So you don't think Pittsburgh would do it?
No, I don't think Pittsburgh would do it because I don't think they value Hendon Hooker like that. Who are the 32% of the people that said no? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you could trade
Hendon Hooker fans.
If
That's
you
a
could
steal.
trade what? Hendon Hooker and the 28th pick for 21 and you
I-
said no?
I'm going to throw in a 4th round pick.
Stop falling in love with your players too much. You got to stop falling in love
That's
with
a
your
good
players
point.
too much.
Amen.
It is okay to appreciate them. It is okay to say they donned the jersey, the Honolulu blue and gold. Excuse me, I'm always thinking about Michigan, but the Honolulu blue and silver. It's okay. At some point, you got to relinquish some players. It's just what it is.
Guys still want Jamal Williams back, dog.
Hey,
Oh,
speaking of the Eagles, they lost one of their better players, one of our guys.
BG.
Brandon Graham officially called it quits earlier this week. Two-time champ Brandon Graham retiring after 15 years, and he could not hold it together on the podium.
First, I just want to say thank you to everybody already. But y'all know I gave everything I had in this. And I don't have no regrets. That's one thing I tell them young boys. Don't have no regrets. And so, first I just want to say, 15 years ago, I walked into this city as a young man with dreams, big dreams, a little bit of nervousness, and a whole lot of fire in my heart. I had no idea back then what this journey would bring. I didn't know how many times I would be tested. I didn't know how much I would grow. And I surely didn't know how deeply I would fall in love with these fans and the team in this city.
I start off by saying this, I love watching stories like this, Maz, from afar. Like, you love watching stories when a guy plays his whole career in the spot and you watch the guy grow up in that space. It's always fun to watch from afar. Maz, it is even more special when it's close to home. Like, I know BG. I've known BG since he was 13, 14, going to the Jerome Bettis camp. I remember at Crockett. He goes to the University of Michigan. I've known him that long. Gets drafted to the at first, played at Michigan at a time where Michigan wasn't good. He was one of the few bright spots in Michigan. He was a part of those teams that couldn't beat that team down south and, struggled in big games. But he kept his moxie, still went first round, goes to the Eagles. In the beginning, it doesn't look like a short fit. Some fans and some people saying some things about him. He's trying to figure that space out. And what does he do? Man, that man provides them with 17 years of greatness, leadership, 2 Super Bowl championship trophies, ultimate teammate, locker room guy, and the best thing of all that, an amazing father and husband. Born and raised right down the street in the 313. So proud of him, man. Just proud of him as a man, proud of him as a father, and hell of a career. Like, he legitimately now is in the pantheon of players that you always will remember, because everybody will remember when Tom Brady had a chance to go down and beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, but somebody got a sack, strip, fumble that beat the Patriots, and that was number 55, BG.
Who was your Wolverine buddy that came up with that top 10 list the last 25 years?
That was horrible.
Wolverine something or other?
That was cheese.
Okay, so was Brandon Graham on that list?
He wasn't.
Because he damn well should be. And I know the chat thinks that I hate players that played for the Corn and Blue.
You do.
No, when they get to the NFL, I don't care, man. I continue to hammer the point that J.J. McCarthy is the second best quarterback in last year's class. Y'all are about to find out. Brandon Graham has been nothing but class and production since the day he set foot on the NFL field. It was a pleasure to watch him. Sucks that he won 2 championships with Philly, because I would have loved him to be a Detroit Lion, but the guy exhibits class and production. I mean, shout out, and I hope that the rest of your non-professional football life is absolutely wonderful, Brandon.
Hey, his Aunt Sharon watches us every day, so shout out to Aunt
Shout out to Aaron.
Shout out.
Right?
Yeah,
BG,
that's just great.
You rep the maize and blue and the state of Michigan with class.
And then he did it too. Like, he was constant. Remember that stuff came about when it was A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and what was going on, and AJ's reading
He was
the book.
the voice of reason.
He was the voice, and a lot of people come out and say, "Yo, like, man, he shouldn't have said all that, expose their business." No, he has been in the league long enough. He has commanded the respect long enough in the locker room and in the organization.
He basically
nobody had a problem with what he said. Not the fans of Philly, not the coach in Philly, not the team in Philly. No one had a problem. It was only people on the outside. That's the type of respect he has inside that city. So, shout out, man.
No, we talk a lot about Philly, man. They must be pretty good. They must have spent a lot of money in free agency. No, they spent the least money.
10
in free agency.
Hey,
look at this. Look at this list. The Philadelphia Eagles, they are the Super Bowl champs, and I give them that's the reason. Let's face it. They won 2 out of 3 Super Bowls. 2 out of the last 8 Super Bowls. They lost 1. They won twice.
When you look at this, is
pretty damn good.
When you look at it, it's pretty easy to figure out. Like, the teams at the top, they suck. And the teams at the bottom, they don't.
It's pretty much
teams
how
at
it
the bottom
should be.
have good structure, good owners. They all have quarterbacks. The teams at the top, they're trying to figure it out. The Patriots, they got the quarterback. Now they're trying to spin through the free agency. to try to be good in the AFC East. The Vikings, we know what they were. They're trying to get good because the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears, who are 6th on this list, are coming for them. And then it's the Panthers. They put themselves in a bad situation 3 years ago. They gave everything to Chicago, and now here they are still behind the 8 ball, still trying to make it happen. Ownership sucks down there. And then Tennessee, the team that we just talked about with Cam Ward, is he going to be the pick, which we think so.
You know who was interesting for me on that was the Raiders being in that bottom row, the Tom Brady effect.
Perhaps.
Those guys, they were very happy to throw stupid money at anybody that could run a 4-4.
Yeah, the Lions, $60 million. Where you at with the Lions, $60 million? There's $60 million
I don't know why
there.
they spent $60 million.
You said what?
Where the hell did they spend $60 million?
Right.
DJ Reed, and this is for the offseason. DJ Reed, Uriah, Anson-Ra, a couple other guys, and then some contracts kick in this year.
Yeah. I guess it's the right where they're supposed to be. Look where the Vikings are. 2nd highest spenders. The Bears on the top line as well, but they needed to fill that team. So we'll see how it comes out this year. Lions, Vikings, Bears, Packers.
Nothing like spending 8 digits on 32 and 33-year-old players. Way to go, the Bears.
Hey, Ryan is going to join us at the bottom of the hour for a few minutes.
There we go.
Ryan Ermanni.
All right, cool.
We'll chat a little bit, whatever you guys want to chat
I'm
about.
still hurt over him not. Oh, wait a minute. What was his Anson impression?
You got to ask him when he comes on.
I'm still so hurt that you weren't cheering for my Spartans over the weekend.
Yeah, I feel like we're just going to have to just watch this. This is going to be all right.
What do you want to do, Matt? You want to give another subject, or you want to come back?
Just take a break and we'll just come on back.
We'll take a break. Let's get in from the Grand Slam. Tell people how they can get to the contest down and support us.
Y'all come back now.
I'll tell you what, guys, we're going to give 2 of these tickets away, so listen up. Detroit, get ready. Tigers opening day is here Friday, April 4th. You know, it's already. It's our guy Anson's birthday as well. Join Woodward Sports for the biggest and best party in the D. It's the Grand Slam Festival outdoor tent party at the Detroit Opera House, brought to you proudly by Mad Packs and White Claw. Drinks are going to be flowing. The party will not stop. WSM broadcasts all day long. Do not miss out. Get your tickets today. GrandSlamDetroit.com. Go again, GrandSlamDetroit.com. Woodward Sports opening day brought to you by Mad Packs and White Claw. I'm going to give out 2 tickets right now to the 10th person in the chat that does the hashtag Detroit Grand Slam Party right here on Woodward Sports.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Oh, yeah, everybody. March Madness is in full swing. Hey, Major League Baseball opening day is Thursday. You got to better scan that QR code above my head, and that will lead you to opening up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. And when you do, use the code word Woodward1000 over there with your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. Deposit at least $20. Make a first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, it won't, but if it does happen to lose, you'll get your first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan that QR code above my head and use that code word Woodward1000 to get your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account, gentlemen.
We're trying to figure some things out. Welcome back to Woodward Sports Network. This is Ermanni Networks with Maz, Anson, Wells filling in the desk. We were just going around NFL talking about Jalen Carter's massive deal, $42 million a year. Jeez Louise. And then Jameis Winston signs a 2-year, $8 million deal with the Giants. Where else are we at with the NFL, Maz? I feel like we're tired of talking about the Eagles. Eagles.
Hey, that's real. Okay,
I'm messing with you.
Well, I got DeMarcus Lawrence against Micah Parsons. Did you guys see this little spat?
I knew this was coming after I heard DeMarcus Lawrence comments. What happened? Here we go. DeMarcus Lawrence. Let's see. We'll start with Micah Parsons. Dallas is my home, but I know for sure I'm not going to win a Super Bowl. This was DeMarcus Lawrence said that, and then Micah Parsons responded, "This what rejection and envy looks like. This some clown, S-H-I-T."
Oh, sorry.
I know you're getting into DeMarcus Lawrence last one. Calling me a clown won't change the fact that I told the truth. Maybe if you spent less time tweeting and more time winning, you wouldn't have left. I wouldn't have left. Caddy. Is that where we're at with the NFL now? Like just this cattiness, this back and forth. Like to me that's childish. But I do have to comment on it. I'd say they both are right. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is absolutely correct. The culture in Dallas is not conducive to win a Super Bowl, and everyone knows that except Jerry Jones. He's allowed them to run around and do what they've wanted since the Super Bowl days, and not policing them and not putting muzzles on them, and they've done what they want. Micah Parsons' podcast. I don't have a problem with podcasts. Everybody does one. The problem is you can't go on a podcast, dog your teammate, and then come back the next day to work like you didn't say nothing.
Yep.
So he's absolutely right. But with that being said, DeMarcus Lawrence, you're no angel either. Because last year, you were nowhere to be found. Then you got injured. Oh, before that, you were talking stuff. Like, oh, man, what was it, 2 years ago? Where they went on that run, and DeMarcus Lawrence said, oh, yeah. He was like, yeah, I don't want to hear from the Eagles. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you. And then I don't think he tackled anybody the rest of the season. So both of these individuals are annoying, and they're both right. You can't win in Dallas. And he is a clown, DeMarcus Lawrence is, because that's some stuff you just do. You call somebody.
You know what that exchange guarantees?
Dallas won't win 5 games.
Well, that and that neither will be a Detroit Lion.
Yeah.
Right there. Because DeMarcus Lawrence isn't wrong, but you keep that stuff in-house, my guy.
Yep.
You keep it in-house. Right. And we know with Micah, we don't know whether he's a player or a personality right now because he is desperate for content, whether it's on his podcast or it's on his socials. You know he's going to jump all over it. DeMarcus Lawrence was a guy that I kind of was thinking could be a nice little fit here towards the end of free agency for the Detroit Lions. But this kind of stuff absolutely excludes you from being considered by Dan and Brad at this point because it's culture over everything here in Detroit.
And I know people out there and I'll bring you back in on this, Maz. I know people out there like, yeah, but Amon-Ra St. Brown has a podcast. Yeah, him and Equimanians have a podcast, but they don't do anything or they don't say anything on that podcast that disrupts the fabric of what they're building in Allen Park. They don't disrupt the locker room. They don't have guys coming up to them like, hey, man, why'd you say this about me? Yo, this is some BS, yo. Is that what you really stand? Is that what we are? They don't do that. They talk about a lot of things. They have other teammates on. Micah Parsons goes on there, and half of his content is bashing his own team in metaphoric ways.
Yeah, it's time for him to get off of that or change the way he does a podcast.
That's what happens when you don't have a culture when you come into.
Yep. I mean, there's no guidance in Dallas. Let's face it. They got your guy, Brian Schottenheimer, your former offensive coordinator. They got him as their head coach. So we'll see how this goes. But Micah Parsons, he was on the top of the heap at one point. He's kind of dropped down a couple of notches here. He's battling some injuries. He's still a phenomenal talent. I would love to still have him on my team.
Over Penei Sewell?
No.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Finally.
Well, not anymore. Not the way it's calmed down. Not the way it's happened. But talent to talent, you would want him over an offensive lineman 9 out of 10 times. His position over an offensive lineman. But I'm good. I love Penei. I love his fight. The minute he stood up to Aaron Donald, he won my heart. And he'll have a gold jacket one day. But let's win a couple of Super Bowls first.
No doubt.
We finally got all the kinks worked out, so Ryan Ermanni joins us from his compound. Ryan, welcome to the show, my friend. It's your show.
Oh, man, I'm so glad to be with you guys. I'll tell you, I had the blue screen of death for a little while, but this is a good distraction. Guys, I swear, I've been working with this tailbone here. This tailbone situation is a real pain. I can't stop hurting, man.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh, man.
And, as Braylon's headphone jacks are jacked, so he can't hear you. He'll try to read lips.
I can see,
But
though.
Ryan is talking about his bad tailbone again.
Okay, yeah, no, it did suck. It was. He told me that the other day how it happened. I was like, "Whoa, that sucks."
So Ryan, what's up,
How
man?
you guys? Not a whole lot. You guys tell me, man. I'm just hanging on a Tuesday here, dealing with some of the things that I gotta get off the table. You know, my weeks are very packed here, Tom Mazaway. My weeks are very packed.
I know you are, man. What was big on the 9 today? Anything big on Fox's 9 show?
You know, I got to tell you, today was a pretty tame day. There was not a lot going on today, except for one thing. We led the show with, you guys will appreciate this. Well, maybe Maz, you will, since you can hear me. So earlier today, I was on the phone. This is probably sometime in the 7 o'clock hour, maybe. I was in the lunchroom warming up a coffee, and I was on the phone. And the person I was talking to said something really funny, made me laugh, and I just let one fly. I let one fly. I was laughing so hard, and that combination of laughter and all the biofreeze that I have on my backside.
It was
man,
numb.
I let one fly, man.
Oh my!
And,
how many people were in there?
Cheeks was numb.
Well, it was so loud.
Oh.
It was so loud, and one of our directors walked in. Shout out Donnie Hops. One of our directors walked in the lunchroom simultaneously as I just let it fly. It was loud, and I just owned it at that point. I mean, you just gotta own it.
You got no choice.
Just blame your tailbone.
Right, that's what I did,
God
Ricky.
bless you.
That's what I did. I said, "Look, I can't. I got no hope." But. I heard you guys talking about Micah Parsons a little bit ago. What a great player in a bad situation. I mean, it always goes back to where you play, what kind of organization you have. I mean, here's this great player who is frustrated. He's absolutely frustrated with what's happened in Dallas. He's absolutely frustrated with, I think, the lack of any progression with that franchise. I mean, they have gone downhill ever since he's really gotten there. I mean, they had the one good year. Now, I know it's only been a couple of years, but my goodness, it feels like organizations that waste great talent, whether it's Cleveland doing that to Myles Garrett right now, Dallas doing that to Micah Parsons, the Raiders doing that to Max Crosby. I mean, these guys get paid, they get their bag, but at the end of the day, I mean, they're just wallowing and wasting their careers playing for thase bad organizations that will never win.
It does suck, man. It does suck. But the Dallas Cowboys, they're going on year number 30 right now. Matter of fact, I heard they're going to wear a patch, the 30-year anniversary of their last visit to the NFC Championship game. But you get a guy like Micah Parsons once in a blue moon, and to waste his talent is not a good thing. And hopefully the Lions, that's not going to happen to anyone on this team. At least they're not going to go on a podcast and talk crap about their teammates.
No, not at all. And that's just a culture, though. That goes back to the organization, right? I mean, do you think Bill Belichick would have – hell, one of the reasons why Tom Brady left New England was because everything was so buttoned up. They ultimately were not having any fun in New England because of how tight that ship was in New England. You just didn't hear anything about organizations like that. You know who else you don't hear anything about? Kansas City. Really, when it comes to in the locker room, sure, you hear a couple of things off the field, and we just talked about that thing with Xavier Worthy yesterday, which wasn't his fault, or Rashee Rice and stuff like that off the field. But you don't hear those guys bickering when they're actually in the building. You don't hear anything coming out of there when as it relates to football related things, calling out your teammates for not doing their job and stuff like that. You just don't hear that from these winning organizations, and you certainly don't hear it right now in Detroit.
Not at all, and I hope it continues that way. But Anson is also listening to what you have to say, and I didn't want to leave the show today. I had to give Anson a chance here because he has got some love for LeBron James Jr., Bronny James of the L.A. Lakers and the G League. I'll let you take it from here, Anson.
I mean, listen, this guy, he's been put into a tough spot. He took a year off of basketball, basically, because of a heart attack. Everyone's got their bullseye on this guy, and all he's done is go and be one of the most dominant players in the G League. He's struggled heavily at the NBA level, but his last couple of games, especially his last game, he's really looked the part of an NBA reserve. And if you give him another year of being healthy, getting a chance to play in summer league and understanding how the game can slow down, maybe working on his handle so he can play a little more 1 and a little less 2, I don't see why this kid can't have an 8 to 10 year career based on the progress that I've seen through his first season as an NBA G League player.
Before you answer, give Braylon a chance to answer Anson.
My voice and see me. Check this out. I think Bronny, at the end of the day, it's just like any other first-round pick. These guys are young. It takes some time to develop. I don't care if you're number 1 pick overall. It's still going to take you some time to develop in this NBA, and that's what I think you're seeing now. At the end of the day, it's like we talk about Deion and Shedeur. Shedur's had who his whole life? Well, last time I checked, LeBron James is arguably the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan. But he's number 2 or 3, wherever you have him. That's who Bronny James grew up with. That's what he saw when he was there in the offseason, preparing, practicing. The same skill coaches that LeBron uses, Bronny uses. The same diet, the same everything. So you continue to give him reps. I definitely believe that there will be a spot for him on, as a 9-10 spot on the roster. That's what he's showing me so far.
We criticize things that we don't see and we've never seen. I think for Bronny James too, he really didn't play in college. I think he averaged about 4 points a game when he did play. There was really nothing special to his game. If you go apples to apples on any player in college basketball that averages 4 points a game in one season of college basketball, I guarantee you that player would not be drafted. So all of that heat comes on Bronny James and comes on LeBron James. 100 times out of 100, I would do what LeBron James did. 100 times out of 100, if I was Bronny James, I would accept that help from my dad to get me to where I want to be. For the first time since I've watched Bronny James, that game that he had, I don't know, was it against the Nuggets, whoever it was against, where he just scored 17 points, and he looked like he belonged for the first time in his career. And I actually was watching the highlights of that game and even seeing him without the ball. He looked like he was an NBA player. And for the first time, all of that criticism went away, and you just kind of clap your hands. And look, I'm rooting for Bronny James. I think he's in a pretty difficult position here. I think, lay people, regular people can't understand the kind of pressure that Bronny James has on him to perform, but because everybody's waiting for him to fail. You imagine your own life if you had the weight of the world on you that everybody wants you to fail because they don't like your dad, or they think you got a special break, or whatever the case may be. I thought that game what was it? Feels like a week ago now, where he scored 17 points in the NBA, not the G League.
Right.
He absolutely looked like he was a pro player. He absolutely looked like he belonged. And I think for the first time, a lot of people kind of backed off their criticism. They said, okay, I see it now. And you treat him like any other NBA player. Not a player that doesn't belong, but a player that does belong, and that's what you're expected to do now.
Hey, Ryan, I heard half of what you said out of Anson's headphones. You know, I got a big ear like that. But what I will say is I don't think you said this, but this is also where I'm at with the conversation with Bronny James. It's a different NBA. And I don't mean that to be dismissive to this NBA compared to the physicality of the 90s. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just simply saying back in the 90s, they would have punished Jordan's son for being on the court. They wouldn't have been like, oh, this is LeBron. Oh, this is Jordan's son. Yo, we got you, big dog. You're going to have a good game. That's kind of what the NBA is now. LeBron's friends with everybody in this league. Nobody's going to overly punish Bronny. It's not an overly physical league. So there will be spots and there will be times for him to grow as a player. Like, he's not going to have the same issues that he would have run into, even in the mid-2000s, if you will. So I think that plays to the growth of his game being allowed. Nobody's going to elbow Bronny in the nose for being Bronny. They would have done it in 94. So I think the fact that he doesn't have to do that, everybody really in that space, maybe on the outside people want to see Bronny fail. But I think inside the NBA, inside the family, the teams, the players, everybody wants Bron to have success because they want Bron to be successful. So I think that plays for him.
Yeah, that's incredible. We got to get you some headphones, man. What's it going to take to get you some headphones around there?
We're getting there. We're
jack,
working on it.
Jack's broken.
Stick's taking care of it. It's the headphone jack, unfortunately.
I heard Jesse
that has passed away.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, man. Okay.
Hey, Ryan, we're going to take our last break here. So I want to thanks for joining us for the few minutes you could. We appreciate you, and we'll see you tomorrow, my friend.
I'll see you tomorrow, God willing.
All right. That's Ryan Ermanni, everybody.
Peace.
Hey, we'll take a quick break and hear from Lady James before we come back and wrap it up.
It's been wicked awesome since 2004. I'm sorry. They've been around forever. I'm going way back to the legendary buddies. But listen, at Lady Jane's, they take the chore out of getting your hair cut since 2004. Sit back and let their talented stylists deliver that industry-leading haircut. You're going to get the relaxing scalp massage, the hot lather neck shave, and, of course, the hot towel treatment. They're open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. Lady Jane's haircuts for men. It's wicked awesome.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season
and take advantage of our $20 haircut special.
Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Hey, attention sports fans. It's do not miss our expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. He joins us every Tuesday on Big D Energy. He joins us on Thursdays right here. Trust the man that D-Mac and Braylon trust. D-Mac, you know it. If he trusts you, everyone should trust this guy. Dr. Jeff Pierce, he's our guy. Keeps you in the game, playing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
Oh, man, it sucks if you purchased a ticket to the Pistons game tonight, months in ahead because you were looking forward to seeing the alien that is Victor Wembanyama, but we know that he's out for the year. De'Aaron Fox won't play as well as the Pistons take on.
And most likely Rookie of the Year, Stephon Castle, out too.
And that's where I was going 100%. So it sucks. But the good thing about this is when I used to go see the Pistons, I would go see them when a star was coming to town, and I was going to see that star. I was going to see Jokic. I was going to see Steph. I was going to see insert star. Now, with them being out they are, would I like to see Victor Wembanyama? Of course. I'll have other opportunities. You still can go downtown and watch a good game tonight and still excited to see the Pistons. That's where the Pistons are now.
Name a player on the Spurs that aren't the three that we just mentioned.
Chris Paul, but I only like.
Okay.
But like that,
I thought you were going to go Chris Paul or Harrison Barnes, man.
Chris Paul is my bailout. Like, he was my bailout player. But now where the Pistons are, it's a good brand of basketball. Jalen Duren is a young, up-and-coming, exciting player. We know what K is going to be. He won't play tonight, though. There will be no K Cunningham tonight. But the Pistons as a team, you're excited. Because they play the Cavs on he
tweaked management.
He tweaked some, a little low management. They're getting ready to play the Cavs on
Wow, we're doing load management now?
What do you think?
You got a $200 million player that actually is operating like a $200 million player. This is what happens.
What do you guys think the spread is?
It's a good question, though.
I would think they'd be favored by 10.
I say Pistons plus 1.5.
Minus 11.5.
Yeah, I'm right on it.
11.5. I'll tell you what. I'd probably take the Pistons on that bet, much like you told us to take them against New Orleans a few days ago.
They were favored heavily against New Orleans this past weekend. They didn't cover. They were favored on the road. Who'd they lose to on the road 2 games ago? They were favored on the road, and they lost that Friday night game.
Dallas. The Mavericks.
Yeah. They were favored, man, and they lost that game. They never really had the lead in that game, and Dallas kind of put them away. And,
you know what's happening to the Pistons is
they're reading their own press clippings.
Maybe a little bit. I can give you that, maybe a little bit. It does happen when teams aren't expected to be there. But what I'm really thinking, man, is this team hasn't played this deep and played meaningful basketball at the end of the year. They're tired. This team wasn't expected to win 20 games this year. Yeah. Not only that, they're already in the 40 club. I think the Pistons are tired, and I think that's why K's not playing tonight. I think J.B. Bickerstaff, a coach that's been there the last 4 years in a row or 3 years in a row to the playoffs, he sees that his team, for their first time winning 40, they're tired.
So they're saving them for our game on Friday night.
100%.
Because the Super Chat is hit again by Byrne. He says, we're going to see our future 6th man of the year tonight, Ron Holland, take off like lightning again.
Yeah,
Byrne, get another ticket for Byrne.
There you go.
My bad, Anson.
No, it's okay. Listen, a lot of the things that you said are true. But the Pistons are also in a stretch of their schedule that's daunting, beyond daunting. Pistons probably go 4-6 over their last 10 games. Yeah. They will win the 44 games that I told you guys at the beginning of January that they will win. Indiana and the Bucks will probably finish with 48 wins. They've both got much easier schedules, especially the Bucks. Those two teams, the Bucks won that series 3-1. So I do think that the Bucks will end up with that 4 seed with the Pacers at the 5 seed. But the Pistons are going through a stretch right now against some very, very good teams out of the West and the premier teams out of the East. This is such a test. And again, these are all young guys. Our whole core is 23 or younger if you don't include Sasser. So these guys are running up against a wall. They're running into pre-playoff play right now. This is something that they are not used to. But they also have something to protect. These are all brand new things. This is a stumbling but learning process for a very, very young team. I know that Kool-Aid and all kinds of fans were maybe, tricking you into thinking this might be a 3 or 4 seed team. The fact that they're going to miss the play-in games is all that you could have ever asked for out of a Detroit Pistons team in 2025. Don't lose faith. This last month of the regular season, this last 10 games is going to be difficult. But this team, they've got the mentality, the physical play, and the leadership to do something when the playoffs come around.
Hey, I got a couple more super chats I neglected earlier today. Byrne, back in the we were talking about the Lions free agents. He's like, any trade that has us flipping Hendon Hooker for picks is great. Also, come on, Maz. Monty and DJ Reader were free agents. Love you guys. And James Wetherill, first time. Thank you, James. A 10 spot for James. He says, hi, I'm from Battle Creek. Just wanted to say I love your show. Watch it every day. And go green. As a State fan, I want Michigan because 2019 we beat them 3 times and 1 was in the championship game.
Go white.
So he is on the Anson train there, James.
He's on the Spartan train, baby. Let's
Spartan
go.
train.
We all want it. I know it's scary, and I don't want to lose it, but we have really waited our entire fandom lives to see these 2 teams play this deep in an NCAA tournament. And both teams are so damn good for such different reasons.
This is true. It's going to be fun to watch. Look, man, we appreciate you guys for listening. It's been a great show. I'm telling you, you got 2 days left to get into this contest.
One
the game
day.
is going to be – well, you got – the drawing will be Thursday.
Oh,
tomorrow.
we're not adding anyone.
What about today's winner?
Picking
Who we got today's winner?
Today's winner. Let's go right now. Today's
Jared,
winner is
James, Byrne.
The new guy?
Byrne.
James?
Hold on. I got to add everything up.
I think Byrne pulls it out.
5, 10, 15. Byrne's got $20 in
Byrne
today.
pulled it out.
Byrne's our winner again.
Man, Byrne.
He's got another.
He's collecting.
He's got another Braylon Edwards rookie card coming. Byrne, you got it, my friend.
He can start giving them away now. Pete, get us out of here, man.
Oh.
Yeah, you get us out of here today.
Well, really, many, many thanks over there to our boys on the desk. The great Braylon Edwards. The great Anson Wells.
I'll take great.
I couldn't do any show without the great Ricky Burns
I appreciate
to
that.
my freaking right. And without one of my best friends to my right, Tom Masway, I wouldn't even be here. And thanks to all of our wonderful, wonderful fans for following us and watching us and supporting us here on Woodward Sports at Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. We will see you tomorrow, everybody.
See you guys.
Stay tuned for the heavyweights, guys.